Hello again. It's Anna. The air smelled like rosemary and lemon that morning, calm, bright, and full of promise. Daniel had left just after sunrise. The house felt lighter, as if it had exhaled. I wiped down the kitchen table, fluffed the garden pillows, and set out a clean vase of lavender. The house was ready. Around 10 o'clock, I heard a knock at the gate. When I opened it, I saw a young couple standing there, side by side. The woman had soft brown curls and wore a light blue dress, and her fingers held a tiny bouquet of wildflowers. The man had a warm smile and 2 suitcases, one in each hand. A small camera hung from his shoulder. "Hi," the woman said. "We're Lily and Josh. I think we're your next guests." I smiled. "Yes, you are. Welcome to Carmel." I led them through the garden path. They looked around with wide eyes, as if every rose, every tree, every bird song was a surprise. Josh whispered something to Lily. She laughed, then turned to me and said, "It's like a storybook here." I smiled. "Are you two celebrating something special?" Lily looked at Josh, then back at me with a shy grin. "We just got married 3 days ago." "Oh," I said. "Then you've come to the right place. Honeymoons should feel like fairy tales." I showed them to the sunroom, the guest room that fills with morning light. They set down their bags and looked around like explorers discovering a hidden cabin. "There's lavender on the pillow," Lily said. "And figs outside the window," Josh added. "Yes," I said. "And peace if you want it." Later that morning, they came out to the garden, walking slowly, side by side. "Would you like some breakfast?" I asked. Lily nodded. "Only if we're not too late." "You're right on time," I said. I led them to a small table beneath the grape arbor, where morning light filtered through the leaves in soft green patterns. They looked up at the hanging clusters of young grapes and smiled. "This is perfect," Lily said. "Like a secret picnic spot." I brought out warm sourdough toast with jam, soft-boiled eggs, and a bowl of fresh melon slices with just picked mulberries from the tree near the fence. "Are these mulberries?" Lily asked. "Yes," I said. "They've just started ripening. You can pick some later if you like." She took one and popped it into her mouth. Sweet and a little wild. They ate quietly at first, smiling between bites, watching bees move between flowers. Then Lily said, "This is the kind of place I hoped we'd find. Quiet but alive." Josh looked at her. "Like us," he said. After breakfast, they asked about walking paths. I gave them a small map. "There's a short trail through the trees," I said. "It leads to a little beach. Not many people know it." They thanked me and set off, camera in hand, the breeze playing with the hem of Lily's dress. The next morning, I found Lily sitting in the garden alone. She was writing something in a small notebook, her hair still damp from a shower. A cup of tea sat beside her. "Good morning," I said, bringing over a plate with warm banana muffins. "Morning," she smiled. "Josh is still asleep. I think he's never slept this well in a strange bed." "That's a good sign," I said. She nodded. "This place feels like a long exhale." Later that morning, after Josh woke up, they wandered into the garden together. The sun was still low, and the leaves sparkled with dew. They walked to the edge of the fence, where the mulberry tree stood quietly, branches heavy with ripe fruit. Lily reached up and picked a few. Josh found a lower branch and helped gather more. Not far from there, in a small raised bed, red strawberries peeked out from under green leaves. Josh crouched down and carefully picked a handful, smiling like a child finding treasure. They came back to the patio with purple-stained fingertips and a little bowl filled with berries, half mulberries, half strawberries. I brought out scrambled eggs with herbs, toasted sourdough, and added the berries they'd just picked to each plate. Josh took a bite and said, "I think I could live on this bread." Lily added, "We could move here, open a bookshop and a tiny cafe." He raised his eyebrows. "Can I run the cafe?" She grinned. "Only if you bake." They laughed. The kind of laugh that belongs to people who've only just started saying, "we" out loud. I smiled as I watched them. First mornings like this have a way of becoming the kind you remember forever. After breakfast, they set off for a walk through the village. I gave them my usual local map, but Lily said, "We're going to get lost on purpose." Josh had the camera around his neck again. They held hands and wandered out the gate. When they returned, their shoes were dusty and their cheeks pink from the sun. Lily was carrying a small paper bag. "We found a pottery shop," she said. Josh added, "and a bench with a view that might be the best spot in California." I brought them iced lemon water. They sat on the garden bench, sipping slowly. Josh leaned back and looked at the sky. "I get why people come here to do nothing. It's the nicest kind of nothing." Lily rested her head on his shoulder. "I think we're learning what it means to be still. Together." They didn't go out for dinner. Instead, they asked if they could use the kitchen to make something simple. Josh chopped vegetables while Lily stood barefoot by the window, slicing fruit. They moved around each other like they'd done it 100 times, or like they were just learning how. I stayed nearby, folding towels, pretending not to listen. They brought me a plate with what they made. Grilled vegetable sandwiches with goat cheese and a tiny salad with figs. "It's humble," Josh said. "But made with love," Lily added. "That's the best kind," I replied. On their last morning, the sky was just starting to turn soft pink when I heard the front door open quietly. Josh stepped outside first. Then Lily followed, wrapped in a light scarf. They didn't say anything, just walked hand in hand down the path, toward the little bench near the lemon tree. I watched from the window as they sat and waited for the sun. Later, over breakfast, Lily said, "We watched the light change. It felt like something sacred." Josh nodded. "It was the kind of quiet you remember." I served them garden frittata and orange slices with honey. They ate slowly, like they were trying to stretch time. After breakfast, they began to pack. I passed by the hallway and heard soft music playing, the kind you hum without noticing. A little later, Josh came to the kitchen with something in his hands. "We made this for you," he said, handing me a small card. On the front was a watercolor sketch of the fig tree and the garden bench. Inside, Lily had written, "Thank you for giving us space to begin gently." They left their suitcases by the door and walked through the garden one last time. Lily bent to smell the lavender. Josh took one final photo, then turned the camera around and took a picture of them both, standing under the lemon tree, smiling like only new beginnings can. Before they left, Lily said, "I hope we come back someday. Maybe when we've figured a few more things out." Josh smiled and glanced toward the wooden sign above the doorway. "We'll remember the name, the little stay. It fits." I smiled. There's always a place for people who walk slowly and love deeply. After they drove away, I picked up the little card again. The watercolor lines were soft but clear, like the memories they left behind. I placed it on the shelf by the window.